Hello, viewers. Welcome to the basically scuffed vehicle sim that I've been working on in the past couple of weeks. It is basically just taking my old arcade flight sim project that I uploaded a few years ago, and I just extended it into this flight sim. I removed all the combat stuff, and I cleaned up some code. And I'm gonna have to do a lot more cleaning before I make this open source because it is absolutely disgusting, some of this code, at least to my standards. But planning on making this open source and hoping some people find inspiration from it or at least enjoy playing it and using it. So I'm going to go ahead and start and just explain everything in it. So the airfoil system that you see here, you're going to see the blue lines, which is the lift, and the red lines, which is the drag. And we're using mouse yoke here, as you can see, move the mouse around. So this airfoil system was not written by me. It was written by Brian Hernandez from, I'm going to link his GitHub in the description. And he basically made this airfoil system. Basically, I took it and I made a very simple flight sim. As you can see, gear up here, a very cute little gear. Gear down, gear up. This I wrote very quickly. It's a very simple flight sim, and it uses his code as a Kickstarter, if you will. And I basically just added a very simple um, vehicle controller, and I wrote some code to automate the getting of the airfoils and everything so that it's easier to add more vehicles. And I plan to make this open source, so hopefully some people find inspiration in it and are able to, you know, make a flight sim or just enjoy reading it, the code, or using it for their own purposes. But it's practically a hobby project. It's nothing serious. But I plan to clean up the code a little bit and release it on GitHub and keep working on it slowly, I guess. This airplane right here, is modeled by me. It's basically a Cessna 172 with a low wing. Um, but yeah, this is the this is the scuffed start of the vehicle sim that I'm working on, and I will upload more devlogs as time passes. I'm still not good at live commentary in front of the camera, so I'm gonna keep learning as I go. But let's go through some of the code and see what we can do here. So this is the main airplane driver class, and it is extremely scuffed, but gets the job going. Calculations, I have to clean this up and put it in a different script. But here initially, you can see all the control surfaces, the wings, the simple wing. This is the one I'm talking about that was written by Brian Hernandez. And also the control surfaces. They're practically untouched. I just added a little bit to them, but they're practically what he wrote. And the engines, the landing gear, the wheel colliders and everything for the brakes, the steering center of mass. And this is also written by him. So the original airplane, I just basically extended it with my own input, which is handled from the vehicle controller, which is somewhere here. Vehicle controller, let's see. Controllers, vehicle controller, right here. Get the inputs and send it to the vehicle. I don't like how this is done, but we'll work on it later. And this is for the axes. It sends it to the vehicle that we're controlling. And the player controller just gives control of the controllers to the vehicle that you select. And if we go back to the airplane, we got everything here for the control surfaces. We got the brake wheels, we got the engine throttle input, and down here we got all the public methods that are used by outside classes. And basically made it so that it's a little easier to add stuff to it, like fuel tanks here. So you just add fuel tanks basically. You keep adding to this, the game objects, fuel tanks. and you just change the values. You open or close the valve. Pretty self-explanatory. So this is what I'm trying to document as I go. I'm trying to document how everything works and write some documentation so that people can add to it. The airfoils are a bit scuffed, as you can see, but they get the job done for the time being. And the way it's written, the code is that if you decide to add more ailerons or decide to add, let's say you want to copy the rudder, so you go here, and let's say I just Control D to copy the rudder, and let's leave it there, and let's move it here, just a floating rudder. And as you see from the code, it'll automatically grab the rudder and everything. So that's what I've been working on in the past week or so. Same thing with the gears and the flaps and the rudders and every control surface here. So that's basically what I've been coding in the past few days or weeks. And if we go to the code for the wings, the airfoils, and go to simple wing, this is the one that was, this is not written by me, and 99% of it is not written by me. And it has its limitations. So if you go down here, the lift force, this is the lift equation pretty much. There's a lot of multipliers. Lift coefficient is just the angle of attack, which is fine. The velocity, in real life, the equation for lift, at least from NASA's website, is this divided by 2. So this times the density of the air divided by 2. So this is the velocity, basically squared, and divide that by 2, multiply it by the density of the air. So I'm going to have to work on this. It has its limitations, especially with a lifting wing where a zero angle of attack produces lift because it like jitters between positive and negative angle of attack. So that needs work. Um, I still have no idea how most of this works, but I know how this works. This, I really need to read on the math of how it works. It's just a cross between the velocity and the right axis of the transform normalized. Since it's the direction, it has to be normalized. And this, if basically, if you need to add a force to the center, you add it to the center. Otherwise, apply it to the position of the transform of the wing. What else is there? That is pretty much it. Here's a floating origin from Unity's website, pretty much, the wiki. So we took this and didn't change much, but here's a really scuffed implementation of disabling all wings and disabling all engines, because what happens when you move the origin back to the center, it will basically cause the lift and drag calculations to spike and funny things start to happen. So practically you have to disable them and then move everything and re-enable them. So this right here is really bad. Everything here needs to be rewritten. So that will happen in the future. And what else is there? Camera controller, we don't talk about this. This was written in a few minutes, so this needs work. It has a normal and orbit mode, but gets the job done. Vehicle base class. So since it's called a vehicle sim, it's for vehicles. So I also don't like how the fuel tanks are here. These need to be, because some vehicles may not have fuel tanks. For example, electric planes or what's it called? Like a sailboat, right? And the way the axes work and everything. And the reason it's called a vehicle sim is because it's not just for airplanes. The airplane just extends the vehicle class. So what happens is you can have an airplane, you can have a boat, you can have a car, you can have a rocket, you can have whatever you want to have. Everything here needs to be cleaned up before I release anything. I need to document everything, and we'll see. We'll see how it goes. So I'm kind of excited to release it. I don't know who's gonna look at it, who's gonna work on it, who's gonna use it, but I just hope someone finds inspiration, like I found inspiration from some of the YouTubers out there. Again, link in the description. You can find his YouTube channel and everything. And hopefully someone finds inspiration from this at some point. Take care, and we'll see you in the next video when hopefully we clean everything up and make everything look a little nicer, and we add some more functionality. Because right now it's just practically just a simple flight model with flaps and control surfaces and simple engine, and that's pretty much it, honestly. All right, well, thanks for watching.